We also know that Americans tend to disagree with the president's handling of this, whether it's the construction of a border wall, whether it is the humanitarian crisis we currently have at the border and the president and his administration's responsibility for what that picture looks like today, or whether it is using immigration as a tool to force concessions from in trade negotiations with other countries. What it means is that a president who narrowly won his first election has centered a very large part of his first term around an issue that is wildly unpopular with the American public. That's politically challenging for the president, who desperately needs to grow his base, to grow the support that he received relative to 2016. And so what needs to happen first is that the president and his administration need to have a policy reset when it comes to immigration. They need to realize that what they are doing is not working, both from a policy perspective and from a political perspective. Next, the president needs to work seriously with Congress, recognizing that a majority in the Congress does not support his policies with regard to immigration, and that a responsible and careful negotiation process with the Congress can result in better policies and better outcomes that most people can agree with. Most Americans do not want an open border. Most Americans don't want to see tens of thousands of immigrants from Central America flowing across the border in seek of either a better economic life or more safety. But Americans also don't want to see people in those regions suffer at home either. And so the response needs to obviously be multifaceted. It needs to help countries that are facing humanitarian crises in Central America to deal with those crises in a manner that lowers the incentives of individuals in those countries to try to come through Mexico and into the United States to seek safety and to seek better economic well-being. The president needs to think more responsibly about the costs and benefits of apprehensions and of stopping individuals from flowing into the country. We know that walls don't work. We know that a more militaristic approach to handling immigration is not cost effective, and it's really not doing anything to reduce the numbers of individuals coming to the country. There are high-tech solutions, there are economic solutions that have been on the table for multiple Congresses. There have been fairly effective comprehensive immigration reform bills that have gotten votes in Congress, just not both houses. And if put to a vote, as Sarah said, if you make something like that a must vote, you see it as something that is extraordinarily important and responsible both for the economic well-being of the United States, but also for the rule of law, then you'll see that something like comprehensive immigration reform will pass the Congress. And if the president were willing to sign it, if the president were willing to negotiate with Congress to put together a comprehensive immigration reform package that he can hang his hat on, that he can say that he was responsible for creating, that he was, I guess, making immigration great again, then he would be able to go into the 2020 election and say, this is a critical issue. I said in my first campaign I was going to do something about immigration, and now I'm actually doing something about immigration, and the Congress has helped us get there. But until the president steps away from an executive power-based approach to trying to solve an immigration crisis and understands that he is one player in the legislative process to try to get that done. Until that day comes, immigration policy will remain a failure in the United States, and that failure will rest at the feet of the individual who ran a campaign saying that he would fix it.